In our previous videos, we got the basic structure of our Flask app up and running, including our routes, our views, and our add messages function. But our messages weren't displaying to the user. The reason was that we weren't actually calling this function from anywhere in our project. To do this, I'm going to edit my sendMessage function and remove the format method. Instead, I'm going to call our new add messages function with username and message as the arguments. I'm then going to add in a return, and I'm going to redirect back to the user's personalized welcome page. So that's return space redirect username. We used redirect before when we were redirecting after filling out our contact form. And this will redirect us back to this decorator here, which is the user's personalized welcome page. In order for this to work, I also need to import the redirect module from the Flask library. Now you'll notice we have an error message here on line 20. That's because we're passing in 2 arguments to format, but we're only actually referencing one field. So let's put a hyphen, an opening curly brackets, and 1. This will then display our messages list. When I run our application and go to the preview of this, then we can see that we now have an empty list here. If I create a message that says hi, then now it'll say Aaron : hi. Let's create another one. I'm going to say, how are you? And now that's appended to the list as well. So we have Aaron, hi, and how are you? Now this is displaying okay, but it's not very pretty. What we'd like to be able to do is to display that in a nice way for the user. So before we do that, I just want to add a docstring to my add messages function here. Again, as we said, it's very good practice to add docstrings to all of your functions. And my docstring is just going to say add messages to the messages list. So now let's create a function that's going to display those messages for us. It's going to be called get_all_messages, and this one doesn't need to take any arguments. We'll create a docstring straight away that just says get all of the messages and separate using a BR, the break tag. And what we're going to do then is just a return, and we'll use the join method. We're going to use a BR tag to join all of the elements in our messages list together. So return BR in quotes, dot join, and then messages. And then finally, in my personalized user page, I need to change the messages list to actually call our get all messages function. So we'll save that, go back to our preview window and refresh the page. And now our empty list has vanished. So now if I pass in a message, it just says hi, then that displays much nicer. If I send in another message, then it should appear on a separate line, because now this has been separated using our BR tag, and a third message. So already this has been presented much nicer. What I'd like to do though is to put my welcome message in H1 tags. That will make sure that the welcome banner always appears at the top of the screen on its own, and any subsequent messages appear on a separate line. So we can put our H1 tags in here surrounding our welcome message and take out the hyphen. Now if I refresh the page and pass in a couple of messages, we can see that our chat app is displaying them much nicer. We have our heading at the top and then the messages underneath. So our chat app is working as we would want it in this very, very basic way. What we can do then is use git and add our run.py file. And then we'll commit that with the message, add the ability to write to and read from a list and display the messages to the user. And that completes the basic functionality of our chat app. There's much more that we want to be able to do with it though, including the ability to display our messages with timestamps. We'll look at that in our next series of videos.